This is the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast, episode 421.
I program my home computer.
We have a server crash, 404 error, page not found, links aren't working, system is crashing, system is crashing, system is crashing.
Your old HTML website, barely alive. We have the technology. We have WordPress. A new website, better than it was before. Better, stronger, faster. Why, hello everybody, this is Adam Silver, the host of the Kitchen Sink WP Podcast. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. All right, first and foremost, upcoming events. There are no WordCamps. Wah, wah, wah. Sorry. Getting close. I think there's going to be, actually, is Porto? I don't know. I forget if Porto is happening. I think it is in Portugal. But locally in the States, there are no WordCamps next weekend. All right, moving on. Segment 1 in the news. A few things here to talk about. WordPress 5.9.2 maintenance release was sent out last week into the wild. And if I'm not mistaken, how many updates and fixes were there? 1 bug fix, 3 security fixes. So it's recommended that you do this immediately if you haven't done it already. It's because of the security stuff things going on. So all versions since WordPress 3.7 have also been updated. Keep that in mind. So there you go. And also in the realm of WordPress core, the topic there, version 6.0 is set to release on May 24th, 2022. There's going to be a lot going on there. So there's going to be actually a live streamed feature walkthrough on April 5th. You can follow along to see what's going on. There's a link in the show notes there as well. May 24th for the next version of WordPress, version 6. So that's really, from the time of this recording, it's only about 2 months away. So there you go. All right, also in the news, an acquisition happened again last week. Go figure. CSS-Tricks is now has joined DigitalOcean, and that's crazy. So CSS-Tricks, I can't think of his name all of a sudden. Oh, Chris Collier, I believe. I met him at All Things Digital a few years ago here in Raleigh. Super cool guy. He's been doing it for like 8 years, a lot of content, but DigitalOcean is going to acquire that and put it as part of their community. CSS-Tricks is an amazing site. I've gone to it many times. Check it out, css-tricks.com, and there's a link in the show notes as well about that acquisition. So there you go. That's it in the news. Moving on, segment 2, the meat potatoes, this week's episode. This week, if you're a longtime listener to the podcast, you know I love courses, education, learning in general. I've really wanted to create a course. Actually, come to think of it, I have created courses and taught courses. I created a course way back called WP 101 until I got that cease and desist email. Then I changed it to WordPress Essentials. And of course, those were taught in person and then to Zoom when I moved across the country. And then it wasn't quite the same, but today's topic is online courses, self-paced that is, and with the state of the world that we are in 2020 and beyond, now it's 2022, there's still a strong demand for courses, and it's not slowing down. And with that said, today I'm talking about the latest offering from LifterLMS, because they just released version 6. Now, I've done a review on this plugin before in the past, on episodes 102 and episode 142. So it's been a while. At 142, the most recent one was talking about when they went to version 3. That was back in looking it up right now for you live, it's 2016, November 2016. So it's been a while. There's been a lot of changes, it's a cleaner code, etc. So with that said, I want to talk about Lifter 6.0. I spun up a new site, truly new this time. I wanted all the new pages that came with it, nothing different from my last trial thing. So I built a new site. I added Beaver Builder theme and the plugin first, but actually I didn't end up using it, but I did it there just to see what it might look like a little bit. I installed the plugin, I clicked activate, and I'm given a setup dialog box and went through it. And I was told that right off the bat, LifterLMS has a few essential pages. The following will be created automatically if they don't already exist. This was the same as version 3, if I recall correctly. It's been like 6 years. Course catalog page, membership catalog, checkout, and student dashboard. You can skip this if you want, but I didn't. I wanted to accept it, and I saved it and continued. The next screen is payments. I picked US dollars, and I also checked the box for off my payments. As I recall, this was actually helpful for testing, for making payments and seeing if everything works in the past. So, what else? Setup was done. Oh, yeah, payments. Then it sends me back. Once that's done, you get an option to send stats back to them, and you get a coupon for add-ons, which is I said yes, why not? And then the setup was done. And then I was also offered to import courses and some templates, and I accepted all 3. because I wanted to see what that looked like. Anything changes there. And there has been a lot that actually technically, we'll get to that in a second. The import took less than a minute. And then after that, I was taken back to the courses custom post type settings page. Other custom post types created are LifterLMS itself, memberships, engagements, and orders. And I then wanted to check what pages were actually created, and they were the ones that were mentioned a moment ago: course catalog, membership catalog, checkout, and student dashboard. And it's pretty simple, pretty basic, and I want to see how things looked on the front end. I see all the sample content. I went to an incognito window first. It presented with 3 courses. The formatting and style, not great, because of course I'm running just a basic Beaver Builder, but nothing had been styled yet, so that's okay. But the functionality was there, and it worked just fine. I signed up for a course. They're all free courses, of course. I created the account, and I had access. And then looking quick on a different window, the back end, I see that the account is there. The new account has been created. 2 lessons were completed because I said complete. And the activity was there in this dashboard that they give you, which is great. So everything works really easily and seamlessly. So far, no major hiccups. For the record, that first free course, LifterLMS Quick Start course, really cool. It takes you through all the settings and setup, which is nice. They're all video based that Chris does. It's fantastic. You can also bounce around in the topics and chapters if you want, as long as there are no prerequisites that are required, which you can then, kind of require when you set up the course itself. So as it's been a bit, I wanted to then create a short course as a refresher. So I clicked add course, new window pops up, the block editor appears. I'm like, oh no, the block editor. I'm not a huge user of the block editor, not really accustomed to it, but it's okay. There's a bunch of options there. Standard stuff, title, subtitle, instructor, access plan if there is one, and there does need to be one. And then with the Gutenberg aspect on the right side, there's some settings on the right pane for displaying, toggling things on and off, difficulty, categories, tags, and tracks. So then the course options on the very bottom of the page with tabs for sales page, general, restrictions, and reviews. And directly after that are the access plans, which, like I said, you have to have one for each course. Clicking that, say create access plan. You give it a plan name and the skill level. Price, you add the pricing, how often the people need to pay, or is it free? Once you click free, most of those options go away. And then under restrictions is where you can actually say prerequisites are required, on or off, as well as start dates, end dates, and limit the number of people in the course itself, which is kind of neat. And then it took me a minute to find out where to start adding content, because this has changed a bit since version 3, since I looked at this last. And I recall they renamed it to Course Builder. And then I saw right then the big blue button on the right side says Launch Course Builder. So it took me to a page for adding the elements, those elements being sections, new lessons, or existing lessons. And easily enough, you can add those areas by clicking and dragging, or clicking a button and it just moves over. You give it a title, you give it a name, etc. And you can then move them around. This is cool. You can actually drag and drop the order of these lessons and sections, and they renumber. If they're lessons, if you do 1 through 5, let's say, and you want to make number 5, number 3, it automatically renumbers it for you, which I thought was a really cool touch. So that's pretty neat. And then finally, the lessons themselves and creating the actual content. It's also really simple because under the courses custom post type back in the dashboard, when you created the course itself and added the lessons, it created the pages for you under the lessons. It's kind of a little weird to say. Let me say that one more time. Create the course, you create that outline in that course builder. And for every section, it created a page for you. So you go back to that, and that's where you add the content, either text, photo, or video, and click publish, and it's there. And again, really simple. And I'm making this really top-level view because you can get really granular if you want. You can have it be a prerequisite. You can actually reuse courses in other courses or other lessons in other courses. So kind of neat. But I did this whole thing. I made it all free. I clicked publish, and there it was. Making it paid, not much harder. You have to have a Stripe or PayPal. I have a way to take payment, obviously, or offline payments. I'm not diving into that just yet. But again, the improvements, and even using the block editor, I did it, and it wasn't painful after all, actually. I would go in and do some styling, of course, making some custom icons or what's it called? What is it called? It's called the default image. So that way it appears you have an image on the front end, but it wasn't difficult. And I kind of whipped up an outline and a couple courses real quick in probably, half hour, 30 minutes. Of course, you need the content. That's going to probably take you more time than setting up a course with Lifter. So all that said, what else? There are some new things since version 3, obviously. Lifter LMS groups, advanced quizzes, videos, social learning, certificate templates, private areas, custom fields. Oh, the Lifter LMS template builder is now powered with the WordPress block editor. So that's one of the main things that they've called out in version 6. Really, really nice interface, because the gamification of education is a thing. It's not going away. So, and having people get achievements and getting a certificate after a course is definitely what people want. They want to know that they've accomplished it, but you can now design that as well in the WordPress block editor. So as far as pricing goes, has not changed because back in version 3, Lifter LMS, they changed it to where the core is free and the add-ons have some money attached to it. It's kind of free for the core, kind of like GiveWP. Other services do the same thing. There are plenty of add-ons, all useful based on what you need. Email service providers like Gravity for forms as well. Gravity Forms. Email would be like Mailchimp, ConvertKit, Aweber, Stripe, PayPal, WooCommerce. There's got to be at least 24 more in that list. Too many to list right now. So if you're looking to build a course quickly, easily, and with a great team behind it and good support team and community, definitely check it out. It's changed enough to make it's better for sure than version 3. I think it's faster. I was really impressed with how fast things were, and it makes sense. It just does. So check it out. There you go. And that's my review this week on Lifter LMS 6.0. And it leads me right to segment 3, tip and tool of the week. And this one is a podcast. Again, it's LMSCast. It's Chris Badgett, part of Lifter LMS. He's a friend, but I listen to his podcast because it's always interesting to hear him interview people and share stories about people across all walks of life and how they are teaching things online. Yes, they use Lifter, but they've used other things as well. And they sometimes do use other things. Or they talk about other skill sets that are needed to create courses. But, just so you know, this is fully not a sponsored episode by any stretch by them. I'm a fan of Chris and of Thomas, and I think it's worth taking the time to get to know them as well. And if you need a course, check it out. So again, their podcast is LMScast, and that is the tip and tool of the week. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up here. If you have any questions, go ahead, send it in via email, adam@KitchensinkWP.com, or use the SpeakPipe function on the website. You can support the show. I would love that. Become a Patreon. Link on the website. And there's a link for a form if you want to sponsor the show as well. Thanks for listening. See you next week. Now go out and do some awesome things with WordPress. All right. Bye-bye.